In the summer of 1676, the colony of Virginia was on the brink of chaos. Tensions between wealthy landowners and impoverished settlers erupted into what would become the first major rebellion in colonial America. This is the story of Bacon's Rebellion, a conflict that exposed the deep divisions in early American society and laid the groundwork for racial divisions that would shape the nation for centuries. By the mid-1600s, Virginia was thriving, but only for some. The colony's economy was built on tobacco, a crop that demanded extensive labor. Wealthy landowners controlled vast plantations, relying on a labor force of indentured servants and enslaved Africans. But beneath the surface of this growing prosperity was a colony divided by wealth and opportunity. The colonial government, led by Governor William Berkeley, heavily favored the plantation elite. Landless settlers, former indentured servants, and frontiersmen were left to struggle for survival on the edge of the colony, facing constant threats from Native American tribes. Tensions reached a breaking point when frontier settlers demanded protection from Native American raids. But Governor Berkeley, who had established profitable trade relations with local tribes, refused to provide military support. Instead, he imposed heavy taxes and maintained strict control over land distribution, favoring the rich and leaving the poor settlers to fend for themselves. Amid this growing unrest emerged a young and ambitious planter named Nathaniel Bacon. Bacon was a newcomer to Virginia's elite society, but quickly grew frustrated with Berkeley's corrupt government and its failure to protect settlers from Native American attacks. In the spring of 1676, after a series of brutal raids on frontier settlements, Bacon took matters into his own hands. Without Berkeley's permission, he gathered a militia of disgruntled settlers and launched unauthorized attacks on Native American tribes. Bacon's defiance of the governor's authority earned him the support of Virginia's poor farmers and frontiersmen, who saw him as a champion of the common man. But for Governor Berkeley, Bacon's actions were treasonous. He branded Bacon a rebel and ordered his arrest. Undeterred, Bacon marched his armed followers to Jamestown, the capital of Virginia, demanding military support and political reforms. When Berkeley refused, Bacon's militia seized control of the town. On September 19, 1676, Bacon's forces burned Jamestown to the ground, the first time in American history that settlers had risen up against their colonial government. For a brief moment, Bacon's rebellion appeared successful. Berkeley fled, and Bacon became the de facto leader of Virginia. He issued a series of reforms aimed at reducing corruption and expanding land access for common settlers. But Bacon's triumph was short-lived. Just weeks after the burning of Jamestown, Bacon died of dysentery. Leaderless and divided, the rebellion quickly collapsed. Berkeley returned to power with the backing of British troops, and he executed 23 of Bacon's followers as a warning to future rebels. While Bacon's rebellion ultimately failed, its consequences were profound. Governor Berkeley's brutal crackdown drew criticism from England, and he was eventually recalled to Britain. Fearing future uprisings from poor white settlers and indentured servants, Virginia's elite sought to divide the lower classes by increasing the use of enslaved African labor. The colony passed a series of racial laws that codified slavery and stripped rights from both free and enslaved African Americans, creating a rigid racial hierarchy that would define American society for generations. Bacon's rebellion marked the beginning of racial divisions that would shape the future of America, setting the stage for centuries of inequality and conflict.